Hi, today I wanted to do a short video about how I bought my 560 SL Mercedes from an insurance auction, and I will talk a little bit on what actually I was looking at when I was buying it, what were the pictures and what were actually the decision process that I went through before deciding on should I get the car or why maybe I shouldn't buy it. And the main points there actually were first selecting, of course, the car from the insurance auctions. That means mainly looking at the pictures of what were the pictures, how the car was portrayed. I don't have the exact ad anymore, but I have the pictures of what kind of pictures were advocated or basically advertised in the ad when the car was there. It was said that the main damage was the engine damage. That means the engine didn't run. Other than that, there was no damage noted, and I was looking through the pictures of what I would see, what could be wrong there. And as you can see from the interior, the seats are really good for a car of this age. This is a 1989 car. That means it is almost 30 years old. 29, so of course the expectations of how the interior looks are not that high, but as you can see, the seats are looking really good, really nice. It's a little bit shiny, which is of course an interesting point there, but the dashboard looks okay, because one of the biggest issues, mostly what is happening, is that the dashboard cracks. In this, at least from the pictures, wasn't the case. I saw that there's something wrong with the armrest, but yeah, what can you do about that? Then of course the radio was not the original one, but that's also, people sometimes upgrade that doesn't make a big difference. Then there's a little bit of crap in between the seats. It's hard to see actually what that is. Looks like paper. Other than that, all the carpeting looks nice, except let's say when I look at the A-pillar and I look at the rubber seal, it doesn't look nice. It looks like torn, so it definitely raises a little bit of questions. Then I look at the odometer, which showed 159,000 miles, which is a lot, but for an engine of 5.6 liters, actually it's minuscule, and that's not a big issue. Then I looked at the worst part, at least the worst picture for me, was the picture where I saw the back, the area behind the seats, which was mainly the area where the two speakers were put into the back shelf. And that was very sad from my perspective, because that meant that that shelf had to be cut through, and that means it's definitely not in the original state as it was, and it's very filthy. Well, my first thought, of course, when looking into the auctions is like, okay, is it a flat car or not? But from this picture I couldn't judge actually. Then I was looking at the pictures, and the right back corner was the first picture I see, and from this picture everything looked okay, except for when I was looking into the HUD spacer. It looked like that it is a little bit too big of a gap there. All the other parts looked quite nice, and here already, looking at the right front corner, I can see that the HUD is raised up, but that can also be due to the fact that simply the hood was opened, and therefore it is like that. Other than that, there is like this a little bit misalignment between the molding on the door, but that's not huge. Then when I look at the other side, I see actually that most likely the hood was definitely not closed fully, therefore it looks so skew. From the other side, from the left side on the back, yet again the car main things look okay except the gap between the door, and it's of course a good question, is the door not fully closed, or simply is it just a problem? Then I see that the front corner was zoomed in for whatever reason. I don't see any big issues except there's like this little blemish here, and the of course the bonnet is not closed fully. Well, the engine bay looks really nice, considering that the car is has engine failure. It seems like nothing has been done, so it looks really good. The corners of the where this side panels are attached actually look also really good. The radiator looks nice. All the things like doesn't feel like being any damage, and it also doesn't look like cleaned, which is also very important, because if it got cleaned, then most of the time something actually was bad beforehand, otherwise you don't have to clean the engine bay, right? So that means something has to most likely was hidden if the engine was cleaned, and in this particular case it wasn't clean, so I'm really happy to see that. And that's actually the main points, and those were the main pictures. So considering this particular situation and the conditions that I saw these pictures in, I decided to simply buy the car because it felt like it is a good condition and I want to buy that car. And I won it, and later I will tell you actually how the process was of getting it into my garage, because it wasn't an easy process, and definitely it wasn't a short one. So stay tuned, and I will elaborate a little bit more later.